we went to our first initial patient intake meeting at BIOS, it was March. It was March of 2020. I'm here sitting in the waiting room where we first had our initial meeting with our doctor at BIOS. We sat here again, not fully knowing what was going to happen with our fertility journey because this was at the beginning of COVID, but this is where we were. This was at the beginning of COVID, when the US cases were starting to spike, and even at this office meeting, we didn't shake hands. We understood that there was a virus, kind of kept our distance. Obviously, we were still very cautious. So we had that meeting, and I was honest with the doctor, and I asked about the virus and the potential fertility treatments and how that was going to affect. And obviously this was all very new, and there was very little information to be had around COVID and pregnancy. And so later in the year, they actually closed the fertility centers. They actually reopened just for patients because, you know, fertility is kind of like on a ticking time, right? You lose time, and that kind of doesn't help. And so I asked my sister-in-law what she thought. I wanted some advice, like, what do I do? Do I just stop and wait for this to be over? Should I continue? Is it responsible? Like, I had all these questions. I wasn't sure what to do. And in the end, obviously with the clinic closing and things like that, there wasn't much to be done. But when they did reopen, we did go back to continue our treatments. I went back for some ultrasounds and baseline blood work and everything like that. My husband did too. And then we were able to try again for another IUI in October, and that also wasn't successful. Obviously 2020 has been extremely difficult and rough for many people, and I think October was just a really rough time, especially for us because we had just lost our pup. And I don't think, you know, my body is still trying to figure out how to have a pregnancy, but then dealing with that grief didn't help. So it was probably not the best time. Right now I am on something called estrus priming, where I'm taking estrogen and progesterone supplements, and then we'll go from there. I have a baseline ultrasound and labs due in a week, and we'll see how that worked out.